Rocky. Love boxing, love martial arts, and I'm obviously married to a man who has a martial arts school. He's also got a master's degree in exercise science. And if you ever talk about K-Man as a human being, you would never describe him as a person who quits or a person who gives up. Part of the Dragon's Code at the martial arts school, the first word the first letter in Dragon stands for discipline. And discipline is doing what you should do, when you should do it, even if you don't feel like it. The second letter is respect, which is respect for me, respect for you, and respect for the environment. You can see why I love martial arts. So we have at the school very small human beings that come to Tiny Dragons and to Little Dragons classes. And it's interesting because they don't get to choose if they're coming. They might say to their parents, I'd like to go to martial arts class. But it is up to the parent, A, to get them there, and who decides who's going to quit. Because one of the interesting things in the world right now is this headspace that I don't want to work there for very long, I don't want to do that for very long, it's too hard, I've got a short attention span, there's all sorts of mental headspace challenges that have to do with attention span. So how do we teach our children, our future adults, that you have to focus? And that's one of the things I love about martial arts. It's the most honest sport, athletic pursuit, because you have to focus, you have to be fit, you have to be strong, you have to be mentally tough, you have to be fearless or courageous, and there's two different things there. Fearless, and I know lots of fearless fighters to just don't get scared. But courage is that you feel scared, you feel nervous, you don't want to do it even, but you do it anyway because you want to overcome your fear. Courage. How do we teach that to our kids? And maybe it doesn't matter, and I've got to be very careful because I'm not an adult. I am an adult who doesn't have any children. So I'm very careful about talking about children and parenting because I don't have any children. But I have invested thousands of hours with thousands of children, with thousands of future adults. And it makes me really sad when they quit. Quitting is when you give up. Now, there's a lot of argument about whether you should do something if you don't want to do it. But my question is always this: if you decide to do something and you quit halfway through, is it possible that you can get into the habit of quitting, of being a quitter? So I'm known to, even if I'm watching a movie that I don't like, I don't stop watching it. Now, if I chose the movie, it was my decision. The reason I don't stop is to learn a lesson. Number one, don't choose movies like this again. Be more careful with your movie selection. But I don't want to be a quitter. If I decide to read a book, if I decide to do an education program, if I decide to start an exercise session, if I decide to do any mission in my life, if I've made the decision, and I'm very careful about the decisions that I make, but once I start, I don't stop. And the reason for that is I don't want to be a stopper. I don't want to be a quitter. I don't ever want to get into the habit of, I gave up. So I've been known to stay outside, for example, in the garden in the wind and the rain and the freezing cold and the snow, because I've decided that I'm going to finish this mission. I'm not going to stop. Now, of course, I'm not asking you to live your life like me. But I do get accused on a regular basis of being happy. I certainly get accused of being disciplined. Do what you should do when you should do it, even if you don't feel like it. That's what I want to have written on if I ever have a gravestone. Here lies a woman who was disciplined. She always did what she should do when she needed to do it, even if she didn't feel like it. Now, again, that's just me. But I want our kids, I want our future adults, our future leaders to know that if you give up, that is failing. We have a lot of people who say, I'm scared of failing. But isn't that why we fail? Because we give up? Now, I'm going to go back to martial arts because this is, again, a very personal and perhaps biased thing that I have in my headspace. But I'll use the Dragon's Code: discipline, respect, attitude, gratitude, honesty, and a never give up spirit. Isn't that something that we would like all people to have? And if you're going to a place that is teaching you to have discipline and respect and a great attitude, positive, and a fighting attitude, to have gratitude and be thankful for all the beautiful things that you have in your life, to always be honest with yourself and other people, and to have a never give up spirit. If you're going somewhere that's teaching you that, Why would you want to stop? Especially when included in that is how to save your life, how to defend yourself, and if you want to, how to be competitive as a fighter, and or how to get healthy, fit and strong in a way that's going to help you defend your family. To me, that's what martial arts are. But there are a lot of parents who their child might say, I want to do martial arts, and then the child says, I want to stop doing martial arts. Kids don't quit martial arts. It's parents that allow their kids to quit martial arts or any sport. Why do we let our kids quit? As an adult, we get to choose. If you want to be a quitter, if you want to be a stopper, if you want to fail as an adult, that is a personal choice, and as an adult, we all get to choose. But children, what are we teaching them if we allow them to quit, if we allow them to stop, if we allow them to give up? And I don't want to be the adult that allows children to do that. Now, I don't have any children, so I'm very careful of that. But I am an educator, and I deal with a lot of adults that give up, that stop, that can't handle a challenge, that are weak mentally, because they've never been taught that if you start something, don't stop. If you've made a commitment, hold yourself accountable to that commitment. If you promise something, it's not just a I promise. That should be the difference between life and death. If you promise something, surely that's a commitment that you've made to somebody that shouldn't need a contract. It shouldn't need a lawyer. It should just be, I can trust her because she gave me her commitment. She made a promise. She said she was going to do it, and she did. And that seems to be missing in the world. How many people do you know that you can absolutely trust that if they say they're going to do something, they actually do it? And I deal with people every day at both ends. They tell me at the start, this is what I'm going to do. And then they quit and they stop and they can't handle a challenge, and it's all too hard, it's too hot, it's too cold, I'm too busy. And I wonder what happens to your headspace. I can see what happens to people's headspace that quit. They become quitters. They get into the habit of quitting. Now, I can't control what adults do, and I obviously can't control what adults do with their own children, none of my business. But wouldn't it be nice if our kids, our future adults, our future leaders grew up in a world where quitting wasn't an option, failing wasn't an option. If you start it, you have to finish it. One of the most favourite, people say, Rowie, you're so disciplined. I didn't think that I could ever run a marathon. I've since run 21 marathons. And the only advice I ever took, I got lots of advice about how to run, but the advice that I took was, Rowie, when the gun goes off, start running. And when you cross the finish line, stop running. But in between, don't give yourself an option. If you give yourself an option, if I get tired or if I'm sore or blah, 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 you'll probably quit. And I've never given myself the option of quitting. I make a very firm decision about, will I start this? Why do I need to do this? Is it important? Is it going to add value to my life? Is it going to take me towards my goals? And if the answer is yes, then I do it. And if I start doing it, I don't stop until I'm finished. And again, that's just me. I'm very privileged, though, that I've had a fantastic life. I am living a fantastic life. I've had wow experiences. I've travelled the world. I've met beautiful people with the same headspace as me. The successful people that I've met, the ones that are truly what I call happy, which is healthy, fit and strong, they've got a career or business that they love, they are financially free, and they've got beautiful relationships, those people all have a never give up attitude. And as you know, it's my favourite quote. You'll see me waving from the top or dead on the side, but I'm not coming back, I'll do it or die. Imagine if we had more people in the world with that attitude. I'm not going to give up. Is it possible that the world gets out of your way when you have that kind of attitude? Wouldn't it be nice if our kids had that attitude? So I'm going to quote the Dragon's Code again. Discipline, respect, attitude, both positive and strong. Gratitude, what are you thankful for? Honesty, which is something that I would love the world to have more of. And a never give up spirit. Imagine if our kids could learn that every single day. And at our martial arts school, that's what we're teaching our future adults. That's how we treat them as dragons, people who have discipline, respect, attitude, gratitude, honesty, and a never give up spirit. And I would love the world to have that same philosophy. Now, I can't control what the world does, but I want to be the living, breathing example of how to be a human being who lives our life to the max. I want to be that person. How about you? So you can sing every day like I do. I feel good, na 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 na. I knew that I would now, because I'm healthy, I'm fit, I'm strong, and I love my life. Woohoo!